I think Usyk again. It's a tough fight. That Usyk guy is talented. He's so talented. He's so small for a heavyweight too. He's non-stop movement and his footwork and everything. It's so different than anybody else. Joshua didn't know what to do with him. He's like, where is this guy going to be when I'm throwing punches? He's a heavyweight, and the heavyweights were never really that good. Dubois is coming into his own, man. That's what that is. He's only like 27, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he's coming into his own. That guy's scary. He's dangerous.
Joe Rogan has weighed in on the much-anticipated rematch between Daniel Dubois and Oleksandr Usyk, stirring major buzz in the boxing world. At the same time, veteran promoter Frank Warren has spoken with fiery conviction, underscoring the historical weight behind this clash. Warren praised Usyk's undefeated streak, especially his dominance over British heavyweights, but noted visible signs of vulnerability in their previous encounter. According to him, Dubois has matured, studied the blueprint, and is now equipped to flip the script. With all 4 heavyweight titles on the line.
But they know each other, they've been in the ring together, they shared a ring together. I know he can hurt him. I know that Usyk, who I've got great admiration for, he's beaten every British fighter that he's been in with. But I believe that he has weaknesses, and it was nearly exploited in that first fight. I mean, that's the punch I always felt would give him problems. So Daniel knows what he's got to do in this next fight.
Warren believes this could mark a turning point in British boxing history, calling it a once-in-a-generation moment for Dubois to etch his name in the record books. Meanwhile, Tony Bellew didn't hold back when discussing the rematch. He made it clear that Usyk is now the most sought-after name in the heavyweight division, crediting the Ukrainian for
begging now for the pay because they know who the king is.
That's right.
And these guys need him. He doesn't need them. Oleksandr Usyk can choose to fight whoever he wants. He is now the draw in the heavyweight division. He is the big name. And I take my hat off to Anthony Joshua, I take my hat off to Tyson Fury, because they had the cojones to face him, as did Daniel Dubois. But let's not get away from anything. Daniel Dubois fought him once, and we've seen
for his growing star power. He calls the shots, Bellew said, while applauding Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury for taking the challenge. Still, he reminded fans of the risks involved, citing how Dubois dared to face Usyk and paid the price. Bellew also addressed the lingering controversy surrounding the body shot that ended their first fight. He firmly dismissed claims that it was a legitimate...
To be brutally honest, it's the protector. Why is it called the protector? Because it protects you from certain shots. Was it like... Did anyone look at the belt line of Tyson Fury before the fight?
It was high, wasn't it? Yeah,
it was,
really
I mean,
high.
I was going to ask what's the neck on them shorts.
Yeah,
but
sure.
It was nuts. But no one said anything. Right. But then ultimately when Oleksandr Usyk fights Daniel Dubois and his shorts are on his navel, and you can clearly see his belly button at times in the fight, no one said all of a sudden his shorts are high. So it's whatever suits people's narrative and agendas at the time. The people who are Fury fans, they always say Usyk's done this or he's robbed that. The people who are Dubois fans, just look at the cold, hard facts. He hits him on the protector. The protector's called the protector for the reason. And then ultimately look at how the fight ended up.
Knockdown, insisting the punch landed squarely on Dubois' protective cup, gear designed specifically to absorb such impact. Bellew criticized the inconsistency in how fans interpret moments like that, often swayed by allegiance rather than truth. It hit the protector, he asserted, and Dubois couldn't continue. Rogan echoed Bellew's sentiments about Usyk's difficulty as an opponent. He praised Usyk's rare combination of footwork, speed, and technical mastery, traits more common in lighter divisions than among heavyweights. Rogan noted that even elite fighters like Joshua struggled to keep up with Usyk's relentless movement and sharp angles. A major factor in Usyk's brilliance, Rogan pointed out, is his training under Anatoly Lomachenko, father of Vasily, whose influence is evident in both fighters' fluid.
It's a tough fight. That Usyk guy is talented. He's so talented. He's so small for a heavyweight too. He's non-stop movement and his footwork and everything. It's so different than anybody else. Joshua didn't know what to do with him. He's like, where is this guy going to be when I'm throwing punches? He's a heavyweight, and the heavyweights were never
with high IQ styles. To beat Usyk, Rogan concluded, a fighter needs more than power and size. They need elite discipline, supreme ring IQ, and the ability to adapt to a style that's unlike anything else in the division. Dave Coldwell believes Daniel Dubois is mentally stronger and more focused, heading into a potential rematch with Oleksandr Usyk. He's observed a visible shift in Dubois, greater confidence, sharpened hunger, and a renewed sense of purpose. Still, Coldwell...
Good fight. Good fight. Where Dubois is now, he's very confident, very bullish. But Usyk's older, he's had more wear and tear. The fights with Fury have taken a lot out of him. Don't underestimate that. But Usyk's just, he's a different animal. It's a different animal. And ultimately, you got to remember, take away that one shot, whether you thought it was low or not, that one bit of drama, take away that. Yes, Usyk had a couple of uncomfortable moments early doors, but it does all.
Issued a word of caution. Usyk, though older and weathered by grueling battles like his recent war with Tyson Fury, remains a special kind of fighter. Despite showing early vulnerability in their first clash, Usyk stayed composed, made mid-fight adjustments, and stopped Dubois with a definitive finish. More than just a points win, it was a commanding statement. For Coldwell, the rematch hinges on how much Usyk has...
I wouldn't put it past Usyk pulling it off. You know, I think it's a real intriguing fight. I just think it depends. It's all about what Usyk's got left. That's what I
left in the tank. After absorbing years of punishment in elite-level wars, any physical or mental decline could prove decisive. Still, Coldwell remains wary of Usyk's elite ring IQ and deep experience, which he considers serious threats regardless of age. He finds the rematch compelling, largely because of Dubois' noticeable growth, but says Usyk's condition will ultimately determine the outcome. Joe Rogan shares in the anticipation but sees things...
Dubois coming into
right
his own,
now.
man. That's
Yeah.
what that is. He's only like 27, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he's coming into it. That guy's fucking scary. He's dangerous. Aggression, too, man. He was so aggressive. He was just in the pocket constantly, just forcing Joshua to go to war. It was wild.
From a different angle. He emphasized that Dubois is entering his prime at 27, transforming into a genuinely dangerous force in the heavyweight division. Rogan described Dubois as relentless, powerful, aggressive, and always pressing forward with unyielding pressure. In his recent bouts, including his breakout against Joshua, Dubois' ferocity exposed opponents who couldn't handle a toe-to-toe war. Rogan believes Dubois is now a serious threat to anyone standing in front of him.
Really good fight. Dubois is a better fighter now than he was in the first fight, and he looked okay for periods in the first fight. Disappointed with how it ended as well, but Crawford, flip me, talking with the wrong fighters again. Yeah. Dubois is certainly a much more dangerous fighter than he was. So he does have a chance to win the fight, but in saying that, I've backed against Usyk a couple of times, and specifically the Fury fight.
Meanwhile, Carl Frampton called the rematch a must-watch event, noting how much Dubois has evolved since their first meeting. He recalled Dubois having strong spells in that fight, and admitted disappointment in how it ended. This time, Frampton believes Dubois has a real chance. However, he warned not to overlook Usyk, especially after previously doubting him before the Tyson Fury bout. Frampton praised Usyk's rare ability to adapt mid-fight, a hallmark of a boxing genius. Chris Eubank Jr. believes Daniel Dubois is riding a...
Daniel Dubois, he's on a roll. He's coming off of a massive win against AJ. Usyk's also on a massive roll, so I think that fight's going to come down to
powerful wave of momentum, especially after his stunning victory over Anthony Joshua. At the same time, he acknowledges that Oleksandr Usyk also enters the potential rematch in top form, setting the stage for a showdown between two elite heavyweights peaking at the right moment. Eubank Jr. emphasized that this high-stakes clash won't just come down to physical attributes, it will be determined by mindset. According to him, the winner will be the fighter who can maintain mental composure when the pressure hits its highest point. In a fight of this magnitude,
head on the block now
Does Dubois do it second time against
No.
Usyk? He gets outboxed,
He
yeah.
gets outboxed again.
Does he get stopped?
Quite potentially, sure. Nobody's beaten Oleksandr Usyk. You know, I don't want to make it sound too cliche, but for me, where heavyweight boxing is concerned, he's head and shoulders. He's Premier League and everybody else's first division. As much as I like Dubois, and Dubois is improving all the time, still not got what it takes in my eyes to beat Usyk.
And finally,
Beats everyone else, sir.
Determination and mental fortitude are just as important as strength and skill. However, former world champion Duke McKenzie holds a different view. He remains convinced that if Dubois and Usyk meet again, Dubois is likely to come up short, either getting outboxed or even stopped. McKenzie sees Usyk as a level above the rest, comparing him to a Premier League player while the rest of the heavyweight class competes in lower divisions. While he respects Dubois and acknowledges his visible growth and improvement, McKenzie doesn't believe Dubois has the tools necessary to counter Usyk's unique blend of skill, movement, and ring IQ.
I'll start with this. I love both guys. I have respect for both guys. And look, we're close to Usyk, so I'm not going to hide that. And I think a lot of both of them, as men, forget about fighters, as men, I think a lot of Usyk, the man he is, what he's done really for his country, to really fight during the pressure of his country being torn apart and invaded by another country, by Russia, and to fight during those times and that going on in his country with his people, and just, like I said, just destroying what he loved.
Still, he believes Dubois has what it takes to beat every other heavyweight in the division, reinforcing his position as a top-tier contender despite the stylistic nightmare Usyk presents. Teddy Atlas offered a more personal and heartfelt perspective. He spoke with deep admiration for both fighters, particularly Usyk, whom he shares a close bond with. Atlas praised Usyk not only as an elite boxer, but also as an extraordinary human being. He highlighted Usyk's incredible strength and focus in the face of adversity, especially amid the ongoing war in Ukraine. Competing at the highest level, while his country faces devastation, speaks volumes about Usyk's mental toughness, dedication, and unwavering commitment. To Atlas, Usyk's resilience both inside and outside the ring is a testament to his exceptional character. As anticipation builds, the boxing world finds itself divided yet united in respect for both men. Some believe Dubois has evolved enough to present a real challenge, while others think Usyk's mastery will prevail once again. Regardless of where you stand, one thing is certain: the upcoming rematch promises to be a monumental moment in heavyweight boxing. With titles, pride, and legacy on the line, this clash will be about more than just fists. It will showcase heart, strategy, and resilience. Fans won't want to miss this showdown. It could reshape the division for years to come.